testing. Okay. Okay. So we are start doing some washing on this gold that I already started on. Just using some like strong ink. That'll get in the recesses. And hopefully it's a good contrast there. Okay, let's just adjust this map a bit. There we go. See if I can get my trying to an angling because I have a tablet. I guess I can adjust a little bit. Here we go. Because I'm using my tablet for, or well, it's a Microsoft Surface Pro. Using that for streaming, it's like directly in front of my face. So not only am I painting and bad at painting in the first place, but also I have a giant tablet in front of me. So basically what I'm trying to do is just get some of this wash in places where it'll be a little bit darker. So I think in this little center place right here, I'm going to paint that red, but it probably doesn't hurt to get a bit of shade in there. Just keep in mind, like I said, I am very bad at painting, so don't expect too much out of me. Okay, so let's get some more of the shading down here. Probably too much. Let's just put that. Little rivets here. Some here where the little strap thing is. Okay, so I think that dry sleeve shoulder pad, maybe a little bit extra right here in this little area. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Let's move on to the face here. Again, I do not have a very good angle. Usually I'd be much closer to my face, but because of the way that my stream is set up right now, it's not really an option, so not being super exact here. That's okay because it's a wash, so whatever. So again, just trying to get this in the like crevices here so that it shades it for me. Let's get it there. That'll nicely go into the recesses. I might got too much there, but I mean, we're just doing this on the base coat, so there's going to be a couple layers of paint over this, so I think it's fine. So just get that right for the face. In this case, I'm just going to sort of slather it all over the face here. Get some little nicks on his helmet up there. Okay, that should dry fine. Okay. Bit here. I'm also going to adjust the light a little bit. There we go. So just get a little bit more in the cracks here because I do want them to look noticeably cracked. Go. Okay. Really liking how the skull came out. So, skin here. So, I'm just going to put a little bit of shade here for the leather strap, which I guess will eventually be a leather strap right now. It's sort of bone colored, but put some here too. We'll hit, just hit these little rivets here. Go. Let's do this. We're just going to slather it on here, I think. Really try to get those shadows. Again, keeping in mind that I'll be putting a few more layers. I'm going to be doing some silver, some lighter gold, so it'll be fine. Particularly around these spikes here, because you want the spikes to really stand out. Just sort of slather elsewhere as well. It's not as important. I think really what I wanted to do was get those spikes nice and differentiated. Let's see what we can do. This here. Go. Some extra stuff there. Might as well put some on the little string right here too. Yeah, while we're doing this, let's hit these strings. Also the feathers. So happy with how the skin turned out. Did this while I was in a painting class, which have been happening at my store, which is good. Definitely need the practice. Okay. Okay. Let's also head down here with these rivets. These rivets, and then also that cloth there too. Okay. I'm not really trying to be like an expert painter here. I'm just really trying to get these models done so I can play with them. That I haven't played with them when they're not painted, but you know, is what it is. Okay. You can hit the wood too. I think the wood could use some help defining the grain. Hopefully it'll dry inside the wood grain so that it stands out a little bit better. Perhaps this is the best way to do it, but oh well. Okay, two, go. Don't know how that's going to flow into the recesses here, but it's fine. Okay. Do some of this little under area right here. It's not doing much. Okay. Some more of this. Okay. Let's some like pooling stuff going on up here. Put the wash on and you can see like it stained it. Not great, but in this case, like I said, there's going to be a couple more layers, so who cares? Just get down here, try to shade it up. And then actually I'm just going to bring down the color here a little bit. Okay. I think, yeah, might as well. I'm just going to hit the blade with it too. I just need to do the this little shoulder pad. Let's do that. So that covers that. I think I'm also going to hit the belt here with that. Yeah, let's just do that then. Finger here to steady myself a little. And then you can see there. I'm also going to be highlighting purple, so it's probably not the end of the world right now. Okay. Some of this belt, like, it's right here. You can't really see it. Cared, I would be a lot more careful, but it's not what I'm about. This is looking good. I'm gonna also hit these boots, the wash too. Nice wash with the boots. Just sort of slather it on there and let it flow into the recesses. It's not really a great light when you start going between his legs, but it's fine. Question is next after I finish these boots. So there's a lot of wash drying on the model right now, so I should probably hit something that I haven't washed. Some color. So that the skin is done. I like the bone. I think it's fine where it is. So I think I'm going to do the shadows on the purple. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Also just get a little bit of shadow here in these gauntlets, might as well. Oh, I could also do the, yeah, let's do the red on the little area here. Should I? Okay, there it sort of autofocuses. Okay. So I feel good about the washing. Let's swap out my brush. And we will go to something a little bit more detailed. Not have any good brushes. I just sort of use cheapo ones. Which tends to mean that a lot of my brushes get frayed pretty quickly, so this one looks like it has a pretty good tip there, so we'll do that. So I'm going to go with like a nice, really bright red for this. That is a take. Oh, that's a very bright red. I like it. Okay. Got my brush a little bit over off screen. Check my phone really quick. Alrighty. So let's do this. In this case, I'm not really thinning the paints. I think these paints tend to be pretty well thinned on their own, so also I'm on the wet palette, so what happens is water seeps up through it and it sort of takes care of the thinning for you sometimes. I guess it does depend on the paint though, so I might regret not thinning this red because it looks like it's pretty strong pigment. So maybe I will thin this a little bit. We'll just get a little bit of water. Let's see. Go using a different brush that can hold a little bit more water in it. I'm just using water for thinning. I do also have like airbrush thinner and stuff, but in this case, my level of painting, I don't need to necessarily use anything special for thinning, I don't think. Just here, so that way. Actually, let me just adjust the webcam a bit. Try and get it to focus a little bit better on. Oh, it's on autofocus. Okay, that's why. Should leave it on autofocus. That looks pretty good, so yeah. Alright, we'll leave it like this. We'll worry about it later if it causes any issues. So yeah, I'm just trying to get a couple coats on here since this is relatively thin paint now that I just thinned it down. Okay, yeah, this is, that's why I like not thinning my paints too much, because then what happens inevitably is I sit here and I get these really thin coats. I mean, that's going to mean that do a couple of nice thin coats, eventually, you know, it's going to look like a nice smooth base coat. But in the interim, it looks real splotchy and real gross, but it's for the greater good, I suppose. But I should put my phone on silent. Okay. Put phone somewhere else. Okay. So here we go. So again, we're just gonna get some coats here. Make this nice and smooth. The nice thing about it being hot in here is that the layers are drying really quickly. So that's nice. You can see there's, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a couple little bristles coming off there. Ugh. It's always a hassle because then what happens is you get these little errant strokes of like red or whatever color you're using. But like I said, I do not need anything special as far as brushes go. Although maybe if I had better brushes, I wouldn't have this problem. It's probably true. Alright, I'm going to swap to a different brush because it's trying to get it. We got here. Go something a little bit longer. Tip, but it's still very pointy, so this one. The thing we don't want is to get thick splotchy paint. We want this to be a consistent coat, which I think eventually get there, but it takes some time. Base coating consistently was the reason I bought an airbrush, because I hated having to go through this step, trying to get a consistent coat. It's just sort of a hassle. I am very patient, as you can see by the fact that I'm painting over stuff that I shouldn't be. I should be waiting for it to dry. Alright, so let's wait for that to dry a little. You can see the consistency that you get with the airbrush, that purple. That's all done with the airbrush. So that looks really great versus this, which is not looking that swell. Okay, how about, so I think we're gonna do some stuff with these pants here. So what I want to do is we're gonna fill in the we should start highlighting first. Yeah, let's do the highlights first, and then we'll get to the shadows. Again, that is the sound of me shaking my stuff. So we're going to take this alien purple, hopefully. Assuming, oh, that's way too much. And we're going to take some of this pink, and trail pink. Mix them together. In this case, probably more of the purple than the pink. We'll do some highlights later with a lot more pink though. So then we're going to mix that together. A little bit of water. I feel like this is coming out way more pink than I want, but as if I thin it down, maybe once I mix it up enough, it'll be fine. It's way too much paint, so now I have this giant blob of pink. Okay. It's like taking up my whole wet palette. Okay. Okay, so let's take, so this is where it starts to get, this is like the stuff that I'm not necessarily the greatest at. So the question is, where do you highlight and where do you shade? So the thing you can sort of do is sort of put the light over it and see where it naturally goes, where the light naturally goes. So like here you can see that this is like pretty much pure white, so that's going to need some highlighting. But then also you can see that like there's like raised areas. So generally speaking, like I think highlighting the raised areas gets you a pretty good way for the model to look good on the tabletop, just because that sort of highlights the important parts that, so that when you're looking at it from far away, you can sort of see where the important parts are, or at least like differentiate the model. So let's, I'm not going to worry too much about like this being too messy or anything. So like here, this seems like a pretty good spot to start. I'm just gonna take and basically highlight this area here. Let's do that. I'm just gonna go around and figure out. We can like blend this in later if we want to. It's the nicest pink ever. The entrail pink. And hey, Andrew. Or the pink that I'm doing. This is purple. Like, might be a little too thick. Yeah. No, it'll come together. We're not going to worry about it. It'll come together. We're just blocking out the colors right now. We will worry about blending it together later. This is my strategy. Ken's strategy of things will probably be fine. They look really bad until they stop looking really bad. Okay. So with here, I think, like I said, I want to grab and so it's like your GM strategy. Let things look really bad until they don't look really bad. This brush might not be the best brush. Should swap. Yeah, see, this is like, it's starting to fray again. It's these cheap brushes, man. It's these cheap brushes. They're just like slowly killing me. But also, I don't like painting enough to actually worry about it. I don't know though, maybe if I'm streaming it, I'll like painting more. Okay, so we're going to swap to something a little bit more of a pointy tip. So, is that focusing all right? Okay. Probably. It's fine. I just like pick out right here on this edge here. Get that. Trying to get the edge of the little pants here. so that it stands out a little bit more. I think I need a different brush. I'm really struggling with my brushes. This guy looks good. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, he's an ogre. So yeah, he's pretty swole. I converted him, so he's actually from a couple different kits. Well, mostly from one kit, I think, but there's like a head swap and stuff in there. That's getting into conversions and stuff, which is probably my favorite part of the hobby, just because I can make stuff. But way too much paint. Will say, so right now I have the Microsoft like the Surface tablet computer thing in between my arms. So like right here, this is you. You are the top of like the webcam, like the back facing webcam. Like having my arms separated here, not a super comfortable position for painting, but pretty good for seeing comments, so that's nice. So let's see. Oof. This. We'll come back and blend this later, theoretically. I mean, the other thing I could do here is dry brush, but I feel like I should go out of my comfort zone and not just dry brush everything. Mike, you're a much better painter than me. You should just stream. Teach us your wisdom. Join my network of streamers. Welcome to the Tabletop Network. Okay. This looks like it's probably pretty high up, so let's just that. I think I probably should have thinned this out a little bit more, actually. So let's just add a little bit of water here. There we go. This is way too much of this pink paint. Way too much. But hopefully that's not it. Okay. Okay. Second. Okay. Feeling just like ogres love pink. I think it's just a fact. Also, I like pink. I like to use pink for some reason. I don't know. This would be so much easier if I was just dry brushing. Do I do this to myself? Andrew, you have that awesome game store. Oh, Mike, Andrew, Fellowship of the Table is here. He lives over by Dulles. So he's a little far for to come to our regular Wednesday game nights, but he is a nerd. He does not play tabletop stuff. He just plays RPGs. Andrew, this is Mike. He's one of my Wednesday people that I game with. That's pretty ugly. This is all pretty ugly. Probably needs to be some light stuff here. Let's bring it up a little bit. Bring this up a little bit. This area right here. Also, like this all. This all here. I think this all would have a little bit of highlight on it, and then we can blend that back in a little bit. That's real ugly. Mike saying something. Oh no, it's just, I assume Mike is the other viewer. That's Sibelia. He's the first one that posted. Unless he just messaged me. I'm not sure how this works. You might have posted before you got in the chat, which might be why you didn't see it. Hopefully this can come together, because right now looks like garbage. Just trying to like highlight the folds and stuff where light is catching. I move stuff around on my. It's like here, this little area here looks like some light catching area. See that like I'm barely putting any paint there, but it's going. That's the nice thing about not using a lot of paint, is that it sort of catches the edges all easier. And I should have just dry brushed. Sure this will come together. Sure it'll all come together. Leave that. There's a little bit of like raised area here too. Here. Certainly some like raised-ish area. Okay. So it'll come together, I'm sure. And they're looking like stripe paints. just gonna like light this whole little area here, this whole little area here. Looks like maybe there's a little bit of highlight right. So again, the key here is that I'm going to come back and I'm going to really try to take these highlights and hopefully blend them back in so it doesn't look just like straight garbage like it does now. Like this in particular, I need to blend that in. So let's just gotta make it stronger before blending. Okay. So I think we've done the highlights here. So I think next step will be bring some more purple into this and try and make a lot of these a little bit less drastic. Okay. So let's try and blend these together a little bit more. So I'm just taking alien purple again, adding it back to my little mix here. We will just mix that up. The goal is to get some more gradient, I guess, in between the pink and the purple. Right now it's very, very it's a pretty drastic shift between the pink and the purple, so we will bring it together a little bit more now. So let's do that. So basically what I'm going to try to do is work these transitions here. That doesn't look too much more purple than the previous layer. To add in some more purple. I mean, but the key here is really just, my experience at least, is just time. If you put in enough layers here, eventually it's going to look good. So that is what I'm doing. Just layer and layer and layer. Take this. In this case, this is relatively thin. So you gotta get rid of these brush strokes, obviously, but eventually we'll get there. So then we obviously have to continue doing the same thing here as well. So we're just trying to bring the color together a little bit more. So the way you can sort of do that is to start and get a lot of the pigment early on, and then just let it sort of drift off as you go further and further away from where you actually want the highlight to be. So actually that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Again, we'll start here. Just let leftover pigment sort of blend together as we go towards the inside of the thigh. That actually looks great. I'm pretty happy about the way this is coming out. This particular leg, at least. Yeah. Do a little bit more just to make sure that blends there. And there's also like some black up in here, so I want to get rid of that if I can. If not, it's not the end of the world. Like, this isn't master class in painting. Okay. It's looking good. Let's do the other leg here. So we're going to do the same idea. Going to start where I want the most pigment. I'm just going to sort of drag the excess pigment away. Didn't work quite as well. I think it's just because I didn't have as much pigment on my brush, but we'll get there. Just take it again, get a lot of pigment right there where I want the heavy brightness, and then just sort of towards the outside of his thigh here. And I mean, the nice thing is that like if I mess this up, I have the purple that I use for the base coat here, so I can always just add more purple. So get that a little. Let's take this out. Now this is sort of complicated here because there's a knife here, so I still want to get some highlight in there. It's not super important because you can't really see it too much, so I'm not going to be particularly worried about it. That actually looks surprisingly good. And it's going to look even better once I get a little bit of a shade in there as well. Let's just do some stuff down here too. Shade this together. Theoretically, what I should be doing is sort of like brushing away from where I want the highlight to be. So brush, brush, brush away. Okay. So it's looking pretty good. A bit more of that here. That was way too much paint. Here. Sort of transition this a little bit. Okay. So let's try and fix these pants here. Bring this back. Alright, so let's take, we're going to highlight in the middle, and just pull the paint over. This is like where I'm struggling a little bit with where the highlight should be and stuff. So it's like, where does the light actually hit? Probably not too much on the butt here. But actually, I think once I actually pull the color together with some more of this sort of middle shade, I think it'll actually look fine. This all together. Light 2. Clean my brush a little bit. Alrighty. So yeah, so once this looks pretty good, I think. So yeah, it's really just about taking and trying to pull that all together. So I think I've decided that it's probably going to be a little bit more pink here in the middle. So I'm not going to have that dark purple. Okay, again, the probably most important thing is just like figuring out where these super highlights are. Just making sure those are the real focal points. So like here, on this little butt cheek, that's probably where you're going to have the most highlight. Just going to fade off. I can sort of bring this all together too. One thing I did sort of miss here, I think I can use this. I don't want to use like the full pink, but I can sort of highlight. So what are you going to be doing with this guy when you finish him? He is going to be part of my Age of Sigmar army, which is, you know what Warhammer is? It's the new Warhammer Fantasy. So they sort of like blew up the old universe that it was in, and they sort of rebranded it. So it's not rank and file anymore. It's like 4 years ago. But yeah, so he is going to be in that army. Play games with him. So he hopefully will get some use. They also have a new book. Well, theoretically, they have a new book that should be coming out this year. I'm pretty sure. So it'll be nice because right now their rules are a little bit outdated. So, gotta get painted. Preparation for that. Lots and lots and lots of blending. That is what this is. So where? Huh. I just want to take and get a bit more blending here. Very little. And then the other nice thing that I can do is I'm going to come in with some washes. That'll really help tie it together too. But it'll bring the color down, so I don't know what I want to do. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. I don't like this over here. So again, start here and just like work the paint over slowly. So that only like a little bit of the pigment actually gets over there. Okay. So there's some pretty stark differences, and from like far away that actually looks pretty good. I know that the camera, I have it set to like just focus really close right now, so you can't see from far away, but tabletop, pretty good. So here is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take, actually I might fill in some of this red here while I have a second while the, oops. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna just fill this in a little bit more, just because it wasn't super consistent before. So we will put some more of this in there. Careful. Yeah. Gonna take a couple more layers to get that black out of there, but we'll get there. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take and we're gonna grab some green ink. We're gonna use that green for the shadows. So the nice thing about the green ink is it'll sort of work with the red and the pink. Sort of a contrasting color a little bit. It'll really work well for the shadows. So it's gonna seem weird, but hopefully I can also, there's a lot of like stitching detail here. And I would like that to be sort of sticking out more, so put lots of this green to the stitching detail. I'm not being super careful here because, again, I'm not exactly a pro painter or anything. But we don't want to dry brush. I feel like I always dry brush everything. Just getting some of this green ink in those little areas there. And it's going to look really good when it dries because it really contrasts. It's going to really stick out. You can already sort of tell that it really makes that stick out. So that's that. But also we're going to take and we're also going to put it in some of these like folds too. So like here, get some of that in there. Some of that. So really help shade the whole thing. Really make those folds stick out. That's what you want. Be able to differentiate what exactly is going on if you're like 3 feet away. We can do that is if you have some context. Just sort of getting this stuff. cracks right here. Get a little bit of it. Leg right here. Leg right. Got a cough. That is really bringing out the folds a lot, which is good. So I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put it here around the edge, right where the belt is the pink, and that'll help outline the belt as well, which is what we out of that sweet contrast. Okay. Looking. And the ink also makes like the some of these pinks sort of transition a little bit better, so it's not quite as like ugly and stark, which is nice because it sort of mutes them out because it's that contrasting color. Probably underneath the boot, although it doesn't look like we really need it underneath the boot here. I think that's pretty much fine. Get some of this around his junk here. That really nice and defined. So if you're looking at that for some reason, tell back in. So just good. Let's see. Okay. A little bit underneath his. That's great. Just like instant shadows. So good. Okay. So don't mind where these pants are now. Actually, there's a little bit of like ugly shading where it's not quite right to be necessarily, but I don't hate it, which is saying a lot. Should get some of this a little bit better smoothed out. I'm also worried I'm going to, so don't want to do that. Get a little bit more. I don't want to ruin it. I actually am pretty happy with his pants are showing up so far. don't like how stark this is though, so I'm going to adjust it a little bit. Just going to take and bring that down a little bit. Also like a really harsh shadow underneath the crossbow just because I don't really have the room to adjust it too much, but it's fine. Blend it together. I think I like that. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to keep that the way it is. I've decided. Okay. I will be right back in like 5 minutes. Or so let's do some stuff before we finish off. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, this is starting to separate, that's good. We're going to try to get this red to be a nice base coat again, which is always a struggle. The nice thing about having a wet palette is even though it's like 85 degrees in here, my paint is still wet. So definitely has its benefits. It is starting to separate though into like liquid the pigments. It's not quite perfect, but get there eventually. Lots and lots and lots and lots of thin coats. All right, so I think I'm relatively happy with the pants. So let's do something with all these golds. So this is what I'm going to do. I think I used a darker gold before, so I'm going to do some greedy gold, which is that color. And I am just going to dry brush the gold. Dry brush the gold to get basically the edges highlighted with some very bright gold. And then what we'll do is we'll pick out some of the details specifically with silver, which I don't know if I'm going to get to that today, because I need to make dinner sometime here before tonight's game. Okay, so I'm basically going to take a flat brush. It's going to be dry, which is why it's called dry brushing. And I'm going to do is take just a little bit of paint, tiny bit of paint, and basically brush it basically all off. And then I'm going to take, and even though it's almost all off, there's still a tiny bit of paint on there. What that's going to do is it's going to pick up all these details. Really pick out all the raised places, and then all the lower places are just going to sort of fall and be not highlighted by this really bright gold. So you can even start to see the difference here between that shoulder pad there and the, whatchamacallit, the gauntlet or whatever. So we'll just continue doing that, getting a tiny bit of paint, then wiping it off. Again, just sort of using that to really highlight these raised areas. And since there's so much, it's not a flat piece of metal, it's really getting those edges really well. So I'm very happy about it. It's a basic technique, but in certain cases, you know, it does what it's supposed to do. Just gonna get some more of the paint, push it off again. This is gonna look so good. I love the way that this metal is sort of like very rough hammered metal, because that means it picks up details so easy with these dry brushes. So the key here is to make sure that when you get the paint off there, you get like almost all the paint, because otherwise what you're going to do is you're going to end up having a lot of paint and it's just going to look horrible. So like if I were to take and really not get all that paint off of there, it would basically put like a big blob of gold paint on this and it would look horrible. But in this case, you know, it's actually working really well. So that combo of the base coat, the wash, and then now coming back over it with a brighter dry wash or dry brush is working really well. I'm just gonna sort of pick out the edges here. Try to just get the edge of the blade. Go. That'll sort of really differentiate between edge of the blade and the rest of it. Do the same thing on this side, even though it's a little bit harder because it's sort of facing everything. There's not really a good angle I can do this. So it is what it is. Chances are not many people are going to see the inside of that anyway, but all about prioritizing. Okay, so then the blade doesn't really look super highlighted, but once we get some silver in there, it'll look great. Let's do the helmet. So we'll probably get this gold on, and then I will end the stream. But really happy how this gold is turning out. Just is like very simple techniques. Sort of that combo between the base, the wash, and real light dry brush to really pick out the detail. Oh, so good. Oh, I guess it would help if I was actually, you know, putting them in the camera. Let's just get fins on his helmet. Sort of start to work our way back here. So that really thick wash that I started with. This is even looking good. Maybe I don't need to do silver. I don't know. Just a very tiny silver. So like here, you can sort of see that you get that little, the wash pooled a little bit, so transition that a little bit better, I guess, or something. Just not worry about it, I don't know. On the back of his head, so do I care? I'm not sure. I do care, I have decided. See if we can just sort of like dry brush that so it's less obvious. Just want it to be like slightly less obvious that there's like ink stain right there. Let's see. Still pretty obvious, but you know what? I'm just not going to worry about it. It is what it is. Let's get the blade here. Let's get the guy right there. I have to use another brush to get at those little rivets. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. So, just going to take and try to get this nice and dry brushed. Pretty messy, so there's probably gold getting a little bit of everywhere, but like I said, I'm not too worried that this is, it's not going to win any awards. I'm not going to enter into any contest with it, so it's definitely not going to enter or win any awards. Done has a quality all of its own. That's what I'm looking for, is done. Alrighty. This one doesn't look quite as good as the other one just because the details don't take as well to the dry brushing, but oh well. Let's move on to the crossbow. And then I think that's going to be it for tonight. those spikes and stuff, you know? Okay, then we just gotta get this area right here, which I think I need a little bit more extra paint for. Areas like this are real hard to dry brush, just because there's not like a good way to get in there. Maybe I'm just bad, which is a possibility. Okay. I don't know if that's quite what I want, but I mean, that's not bad. It is not bad at all. Okay, so this is where we are. So started, pants were just a solid color purple. Now you can see that we've done a lot of the shading on them. All the metals were just like a bronze color. And we started to actually highlight those quite a bit to get at some nice shading. I like the face especially, that looks real good. I don't know if it's coming through necessarily, but yeah, it looks great. Did the metal on the bow as well. Did all the metals. Let's get it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we also gotta pick out these little rivets too, so I'll do that first and then I'll be done. So we need a little bit of a smaller brush here. So we'll just take a little brush. We'll just very lightly pick out the rivets. This brush is already frank. Ugh. Okay. We're just gonna pick out these guys here. They just stick out a little bit more, which is what we want. And also do too much. I should dry brush this, but oh well. Went a little heavy on the gold there, but it's fine. Alrighty, so I think that will do it. The only thing I want to do real quick is, ooh, there's like some, see, I said I was done. Then I noticed like little things. This right here, this is pretty messy, and I just want to blend it a little bit. So I think what I need to do is like come in with a purple and blend it that way. But I mean, It is what it is. It's probably fine. Also, well, since I have a little bit of paint here that I probably not going to use, I'm just going to take and I'm going to take some green wash and put it right into these cracks here where these straps are. Just trying to differentiate the straps from the skin. So hopefully the green wash will help with that. Right now the straps really aren't sticking out at all, which is not good. Even if it's a little thicker than it should be, it's probably fine. It's not the end of the world. I went a little too heavy on that. Whatever. It helped it stand out a little bit, and I will come back over it with some brown later. Maybe on another stream. The thing I don't want to do is mess up the skin, because I like the skin. Just want to be done with this model. Okay, so that is where we are for the night. Maybe do one final coat of red. Maybe I'll be done with the red now. Looks like I just need a little bit. So close. So close. Okay. So I think that friend, Mr. Ogre, for now. Bye, everybody.